We are checking out a beautiful new 35-footer by CG Boats here today out of Keystone Point, and this thing is pretty crazy when it comes to the speed and fuel efficiency with twin outboards. This one in particular will do over 600 miles of range, so let's jump on board, go through all the details, and see what this thing is about. The wind is absolutely howling. It's got to be 25 knots just about everywhere here in South Florida. So we came over to Monument Island. We're tucked away from the wind a little bit so we can get some photography of the CG35 right there in front of me, and we're going to get the drone up in the air so we can obviously get that all included in the footage. You can see how this thing runs, but just to ride over here, this thing gets up and it moves. If you're into a performance style center console, this is for you. Family style center console, this is for you. And they're actually rigging one up as well to get more into the fishing demographic, so stand by for that one. So it's a Tuesday at about midday, and we're here at Monument Island. Nobody else here but us, but we can see the CG35 being perfect for exactly this. Hanging back with the family, coming out to a sandbar, relaxing, and having this beautiful boat in the background. It's very economical fuel-wise, 345 gallons, and doing about 1.8 miles per gallon. We'll get this thing to 600 plus miles overall, so it'll be a long time before you have to fill the tank. You have a 9.4 beam, so there's a lot of interior space and great seating throughout the entire boat. Before we jump on board, I want to show you the hull side. Since we're beached here, you can actually see the twin step hull design, and if you guys aren't familiar with what this thing is meant to achieve, on a straight mono bottom you actually create suction. So what this does is it breaks that suction, allows that water to shoot out, and basically takes you up onto step number 1 and step number 2 depending on what speed you are. So at higher speeds you're supposed to get actually a higher top speed and better fuel economy with this hull design. Let us know what you guys think. Are you more into the twin step design or the straight mono hull? All right, now we're inside the CG35, and you can see right here towards the bow you have your pointy bow here. This boat is made for performance. It is fast, it is fuel efficient. That's one of our favorite things. And then you have kind of an elevated casting platform if you're going to do some fishing, which it is nice to throw a cast net off the bow here, you know, sight fish on something. And they also have a pad, which I'm going to show you here in a second, that'll lay this whole thing open as a sunbed if you want to bring the family out just to sit back and relax. Underneath here, it offers a tremendous amount of storage. This thing goes way up there, basically creates storage throughout this entire area, which you can never have too much of. And then under here, you have a nice storage space. This one isn't insulated. It's just a huge storage space that goes up and underneath the console, and the batteries are actually tucked under here. We have a sand non-skid throughout the boat, JL audio sound system throughout. You can see nice accents with the decking material, cup holders that are convenient, rod holders throughout the cap. So you can see the freeboard is at a good height. You're not going to have a kid fly off the side here, but also the way this hull is designed, I got pretty easy access to the water, so if I want to gaff a fish off the bow, it's an easy feat to handle. You're going to see the upholstery that they use here is something pretty interesting. First of all, they actually went custom with it and put their CG logo into it instead of like a diamond or a hex design. And then this is actually a silicone material, which is a lifetime guaranteed product, and you can even get a torch onto this thing, a match, a cigarette right into it, and wipe it right off. It's not going to burn it, it's not going to damage it. First we actually hear about it, so it's pretty cool that they have it on this boat. And we can pop this thing open underneath. You can see this is forward opening and basically storage, access to all your rigging. We have the cushions that we're going to lay out right now for the forward deck space, but it's a great space to put things. If you wanted to add a head in there, you could. This one in particular does not have it, but it is an option from the company. One thing I do notice underneath this entire console does have a toe kick, which, believe it or not, does make this feel even wider than it is. And then you have vertical rod storage, both port and starboard, so it's nice to be able to line up your rods. And you have the little openings up on the hardtop to be able to get the longer pulls out through there. Really nice to be able to store that there. And we're going to work our way over to the helm area. Again, this was all new design by the company. We have our Captain Hunter's Addiction paracord wrapped wheel. You can get these on openfisherman.com. Simple setup. We're spinning here with the wind, but you can see you have two Garmin 12s right here. You can actually fit two 16s with no problem. Your vessel view down the middle. Fusion head unit. You got your VHF, trim tabs, ignition switches, Boca Tech switches right down the bottom area here. Obviously your throttle and your cup holders with your trusty center consoles only tumbler. So up top, they created this little decking material, which is nice. You can get your phone, throw it up here, and it's gonna lock it in place even if you're bumping around in some rough seas. They do have this acrylic piece here, and I'm sure they can do a full enclosure if you were to want it. This one in particular, they wanted to keep it open so you get that breeze through your hair, and it's actually quite nice even though it's really windy out here today. Got some storage up top here, just a small little piece, but you also have access to your radar and other items that you're gonna mount up on your hardtop. Lighting, as you can see through here, JL audio speakers, vertical rod storage up there as well. And then you got your LeBrock seats. These are one of our favorites personally. We love how these things look and feel. It's that SBT style, adjustable armrests, and just look at this thing. I mean, it makes any boat look sporty, and it's perfect here on the CG35. They actually added a phone holder right here, basically a starboard piece that you can put everybody's phone on the boat. You have some additional storage space right here and a USB charger to be able to connect it right there if you like. Then underneath, something nice I've been seeing lately is your battery switches right under here. So you don't have to tuck yourself into the console to turn the batteries on and off. You can handle it right here and you don't have to step into the console at all. I'm gonna open up one of the fish boxes. So this is the starboard side. Obviously they have it on the port side as well. You got your bulb seal right here. This is insulated. I believe maceration is an option. I'm not sure if this one here has it, but this is where you're going to want to throw your fish if you're out there doing any of that sort of thing. And then actually right here next to me, under the leaning post, you have this little plier holder, knife holder, so you can tuck that out of the way, keep it on the boat. Then underneath here, you have some gaff holders and your fresh and saltwater wash downs tucked underneath here. So most of the damage is going to happen back here when you're fishing, you know, the bloody fish, the mahi, the tuna, that sort of thing. So they put them tucked under there. You really can't even see that they're on the boat. I actually didn't notice them until I tucked down. So it's a good spot for them. Something different. We don't see that often. Their leaning posts, pretty traditional. You got your rod holders, cup holders, and then you got some additional tackle storage here, and then a retractable frigid rigid cooler. These things are absolutely incredible on how they hold ice. It's something that I've used a ton, and I mean, this thing will hold ice for a week and have it in the right space. Obviously, you can pull that out and use this as a seating if you'd like, and then you have another transom seat here, which is obviously removable, just a couple of pins. Pop that thing out and you're on your way. You got a 35-gallon live well here on the transom, and then here is like a shrimp well, they call it. It's a small little 15-gallon, I believe. If you want to take, you know, fish out, or if you have some pilchards hooked up on your line, you want to drop them in here just so they're not messing around with the majority of your bait, that's a good space to do it. Then you have your transom access on this side. Makes it easy to jump out here, and you got, you know, pretty good space to jump in and out of the water if you want to do that sort of thing. More vertical rod storage here, and twin 350s, which puts this boat up into the low 70s. So this thing is an absolute rocket ship. Like I told you, you're doing about 1.8 miles per gallon, doing 45 miles per hour, and then 345 gallons of fuel give you 600 something miles of range. So absolutely insane. Imagine being able to go out on your boat 3, 4, 5 times and not having to fill up. I mean, that's something that's really attractive to me, and the first thing that really blew my mind when I jumped here on the CG35. I want to ask you guys a question. When you see other 35-foot boats out in the market today, what do you think the CG35 would be priced at? I'd like to see what the comments look like, and then we're going to respond to some of those comments with the actual price, the base price, and that's where you're starting. It obviously varies a ton depending on how you outfit the boat, the power you put on it, electronic package, so on and so forth. But I want to know what you guys think. Let us know in the comments. So I went ahead and laid out the upholstery here on this sunbed, and you can see how much real estate you end up with. And this is a pretty simple solution, and you can see actually they added this starboard piece in here, so you lock that in place, and you actually can create a full backrest if someone wanted to run up here while you're cruising the boat around, or just sit back and read a book off in the bow away from everyone else. So a pretty nice setup and a great spot just to sit back, relax, lay out, grab some rays, and take advantage of this raised sun deck they have here on the CG. So that concludes our walkthrough on the CG Boatworks 35. I got a sweet little camo hat from the team here. And for those of you that made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you very much. And for doing so, I'm gonna mention the starting price. So this starts at $329, not as you see it. Basically, everyone is rigged differently depending if you go with Yamaha, Mercury, Garmin, Raymarine. Depends what you set up and how you wanna deck out your boat specifically. But I wanna know what you think about it. Drop your comments below. And if you want some more information, go to cgboatworksinc.com. Once again, my name is Alan Blanco with Center Consoles Only. Thank you all for watching.